Today's story involves a prospective mother-in-law who resembles a character from Misery, begging for forgiveness. The boyfriend, who was once ardently defending his mother, is also seeking forgiveness. What could have possibly happened? Let's find out together.
Please like and subscribe our channel.
My boyfriend and I are a couple with an age gap. I'm in my late 20s, and he's in his early 30s. After we made a promise to marry, we introduced each other to our families. Both families seemed to like my boyfriend and me, though I had a slight feeling that my boyfriend's mother didn't really like me. However, that's of little significance now. His parents had divorced about 10 years ago, so he's living with his mother and his two younger sisters. The elder sister is a job seeker studying for employment, and my boyfriend has been supporting her college tuition. The younger sister has been living by working part-time jobs, without having a stable job. My boyfriend earns a considerable amount more than I do, with his monthly salary nearly $1,000 higher than mine. He takes pride in his salary and bonuses, but there isn't much left from his income. Considering the living expenses for his mother, the allowances for his sisters, rent, car installments, he barely has anything left, which leaves him unable to save. Despite knowing this situation, I decided to marry him, because I thought he was a good person. Recently, my boyfriend has been implying that his mother is not in a good mood. He suggested I call her more often. He said it's simple to just call and say warm words to his mother, but I found it not as easy. I was at a loss for what to talk about when I called her. We had a few arguments over this issue. Sometimes I wondered if his mother was pressuring him behind all this. I couldn't visit his mother during the last Lunar New Year holiday due to work. My boyfriend visited my house the weekend before the holiday, but I asked him to explain to his mother why I couldn't visit during the holiday. I told her I would visit after the holiday, and he said okay. I also called his mother the day before the holiday to apologize for not being able to visit during the holiday and wished her a happy new year. I was exhausted from work, but I tried to sound as cheerful as possible. His mother responded in a gruff tone. "What's this about? Does it make sense that you can't come because you're busy?" I got mad at my boyfriend's name because it's ridiculous. Are you satisfied with ruining the holiday? I didn't understand what she meant, but I said I would visit over the weekend. She replied in a gruff voice again. "What's the point of coming after the holiday? If you're going to do as you like, don't say such things." And she hung up. To be honest, I was angry and flabbergasted. I didn't understand why she was so angry, and I didn't think I had done anything majorly wrong. I considered apologizing, but I didn't feel I had made a serious mistake. Rather, I thought she was overreacting. Soon after, my boyfriend texted me to not take her words seriously, and that she was joking. But I was even more upset at the thought that it was a joke. "Isn't it outrageous?" She scolded me like that and then said it was a joke, as if she and I were close enough to joke about such things. The next day after work, my boyfriend and I talked about this issue. What I found hard to understand was his mother's behavior. She seemed to get angry as a joke, and I didn't understand that at all. My boyfriend defended her by saying she likes to joke around. It was just an excuse. Maybe she regretted the way she spoke to me. My boyfriend said, "You'll find it funny later on too." But I was just angry. Then he subtly brought up this issue. He asked how his mother would understand my not being able to visit their house during the holiday due to work. And he said that my not visiting their house was a sign of my small respect for his mother, which made no sense at all to me. After this, another problem arose. While making various plans for our wedding, we had a disagreement about the house. My boyfriend had always talked about living in the house he had been living in. On the other hand, I suggested that we prepare a new house with the money we had saved and start anew. I said I wanted to start our married life in the house I have, and asked him how much he had. But he said he had no money. He suggested that we live in a rented house, use my salary for living expenses, and save his salary. Moreover, if we get a rented house, it needs to have 3 rooms. I asked why we need such a big house with many rooms when it's just the 2 of us. I said a 2-room house would be enough. But he said, "Then what about my mother?" I was so taken aback. I said, "Huh? Why your mother?" He frowned and said, "Didn't you think about my mother at all?" I didn't know what to do. After that day, my boyfriend was irritable for a while, and I got angry. I said it would be hard for us to get married in this situation. But the funny thing is, he asked me why. I told him it was strange that his mother was to live in our newly house. And I didn't understand why his mother was angry at me for not visiting during the holiday. He told me that I should be nicer to his mother. We were getting married, so I should consider myself his mother's daughter-in-law and treat her like a daughter-in-law should. I thought we were not getting through to each other. So I suggested we think things over. His face turned red, and he didn't say anything. I didn't know what to say to my boyfriend. So I didn't contact him for a few days. He didn't contact me either, so I thought he needed time to think. After a few days, he called me. But I said I needed more time to think and told him to text me. He texted me a long message, but in summary he said, "We're good together in everything." I wavered a bit. But when I thought of what his mother had said, and his words defending his mother, I texted him back, saying I didn't have confidence in this marriage. If we were just dating, it would be fine. But I really didn't have confidence in marriage. A few days later, I got a call from his mother. During the call, she said that she was joking during the holiday. And she told me to prepare for the wedding well, since we don't have any major issues. And she said she doesn't have any special expectations for her children or daughters-in-law. It's enough for us to live well on our own. I was dumbfounded, but I told her honestly. I said I didn't know whether she was joking or really angry. But the real problem is that I think my boyfriend should apologize to his mother. The reason I couldn't visit during the holiday was because of work. And I said I would visit the next weekend. But he and his mother cornered me as if I had done something wrong. I told her that was too much for me. My boyfriend's mother didn't seem to understand why she should apologize, or what she had done wrong. When she got angry, my boyfriend didn't even try to play a mediator role, or try to make her understand. And he forced me to kneel and beg, which shook my confidence in the marriage. That's why I told my boyfriend we should break up. His mother said, "Fine, I get it. Do what you want." Then she hung up the phone. I thought that was the end of it. But starting the next day, my boyfriend's mother called me every day. I didn't see any reason to answer her calls, so I didn't. When I kept not answering, she sent me a text. It was filled with curses and threats. I could dismiss her as a lunatic. But it wasn't easy to just ignore the messages filled with curses and threats. There were threats against me, and she said she would come to find me. So I blocked her messages. Whenever I got a notification, I ended up reading it. When I blocked her messages, she started sending me text messages. She seemed determined to harass me. Days later, she was waiting outside my office when I was leaving work. I saw her from a distance, but I knew instantly who she was. I was so creeped out that I informed my colleagues about the situation. And my male colleagues escorted me safely to the bus stop. When I checked the spam messages that day, they were full of horrible things. I had no choice but to tell my parents. I didn't want to worry them, but honestly, I was really scared. My parents told my brother to come right away. And when my brother rushed home, I told him everything. My brother is self-employed and busy, but he can manage his time somewhat freely. He said he would come to my office when I get off work and take me home, so I shouldn't worry. And he also suggested that I should report to the police just in case. So I went to the police station with the messages from my boyfriend's mother and told them that she had come to my office. I also applied for a restraining order against my boyfriend and his mother. Every day, my brother came to pick me up from the office. And I felt sorry for him. When I said I was sorry to my brother, he said, "If I don't step up when my sister is in danger, who will?" I realized how precious family is. Anyway, for several days, my boyfriend's mother didn't show up. Then, a few days later, I saw her in front of my office building. When I was leaving work, I was on the phone with my brother at the time. He couldn't park the car in front of the building, so he was nearby and would bring the car to the building when I called. Even though I saw my boyfriend's mother, I walked towards where my brother's car was because I could just get in his car. My boyfriend's mother ran towards me. She was far away, but she was so fast that she grabbed my arm before I could get in my brother's car. I was so shocked that I screamed. My boyfriend's mother yelled at me, saying, "You thought you could disrespect our family and get away with it." When I asked her to let go of my arm and talk, she suddenly slapped me across the face. My brother saw her coming at me and quickly got out of the car to intervene, but in that short time, I was slapped. I was frozen in place, and she seemed ready to hit me again. My brother stepped in, and she fell to the ground, screaming that he had hit her. The police arrived shortly after, and we went to the police station to give our statements. My boyfriend's mother showed a bruise on her elbow, claiming that my brother had beaten her. My brother denied ever hitting her and only blocked her, asking the police if there were any CCTV footage. But they said there wasn't. I told the police that I was the one who got slapped, but she denied ever doing such a thing. The next day, the police contacted me, saying that my boyfriend's mother had been admitted to the hospital. She was complaining of symptoms of a concussion, claiming that my brother had beaten her and caused her to hit her head. The police suggested settling the matter amicably, but it was so unfair, and I felt so sorry for my brother. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't focus on my work and was spaced out. When a coworker told me there was a video of what had happened the day before. It was one of the colleagues who had walked me to the bus stop. I received the video from him and checked it again. My brother hardly touched my boyfriend's mother, but she fell to the ground. I submitted the video to the police and added a false accusation charge against my boyfriend's mother. When the police notified her of this, she immediately checked out of the hospital. My boyfriend called me and asked me to drop the charges against his mother. I heard from the police that she could be criminally charged, but I had no intention of dropping the charges. I thought if I said okay, he would take it lightly, and I didn't know what he would do next. I told my boyfriend that I would seek criminal punishment for the harassment from his mother, and also claim damages in a civil suit, and then I hung up. About a month has passed since then, and nothing major has happened so far. I think my boyfriend's mother has some mental issues. I don't know if my boyfriend is ignorant about his mother. But the thought of what would have happened if I had married such a person gives me chills. It took me almost 2 weeks to calm down from the shock. I am determined to be compensated for the mental damage I suffered.
It's astonishing how both the boyfriend and his mother, who seem to be mentally unstable, are living as if they're normal. She did really well to distance yourself from them. If you forgive such people, they don't appreciate it, rather they tend to belittle you. As she mentioned, she should take all the legal actions that she can. As time goes by and things get settled, I believe that only good things will happen to the smart woman.